You're listening to Binjang 91.5 Tech Talk with Mathew Dickerson and your host Tony Graham here. Good afternoon, Matthew.
Hey, good afternoon, Tony. Good to see you again.
Now, SpaceX plans to launch thousands of satellites. So is this the end of dark skies?
Well, it may be the end of dark skies, and we have got a specific, there is a specific scientific term called dark sky, and some areas apply for that. Coonabarabran, Mount Sinkurak, a lot of telescopes out there, that has actually got the application in. I'm not sure if it's been approved as a dark sky area. And the idea of a dark sky area is not too much backlight from a major city nearby that will start to reflect into the atmosphere and basically impinge on the ability for scientists to see through telescopes out into the dark, deep recesses of space. But SpaceX is talking about launching a number of satellites in what they are talking about as mini constellations to give internet access to people who haven't got access to internet now. So a great program to try and provide some additional internet access to people, but there is some discussion that there will be so many satellites there that scientists sitting at their telescopes looking into the sky will see lots of these constellations of satellites and be difficult to see past those out into the deep, dark recesses of space. So it's an issue, it's a problem. There is a lot of space junk up there now, and I use the term space junk. Obviously, a lot of it's very useful, some of it is junk. But this, again, will be incredibly useful, but again, it will make it difficult for people to see past that out into the dark sky.
Yes, well, that's quite interesting, isn't it? And a lot of people wouldn't realise it, but even in this area here, we're not supposed to be pointing lights up into the sky, and buildings, when they're getting approved, are also supposed to have lights facing downwards rather than upwards because of the telescopes that surround this area.
And there's specific lighting, for example, street lighting. There is specific lighting that is approved for a dark sky area. So you're exactly right, which makes sense anyway. The light needs to go down, not up. There's not much point of it going up. But there's specific lighting that's approved for these areas for our street lighting.
Well, moving along to the next topic. Students already benefiting from the phone pouch trial in South Australia. It seems to be working out quite well. Yeah,
this particular school had some concerns. The teachers there had some concerns that kids weren't out on the playground. They'd get out for their recess and their lunchtime, and they'd sit around, sometimes solitary, sometimes a couple of them together, but they'd all have their heads buried down in their phone. Sounds great to me, but from an educator's point of view, they're a little bit concerned about the kids. And so these pouches have been trialled at a couple of other locations where you can't have phones, for example, in a courthouse or in Parliament, if you go into Parliament and watch. So these have been trialled around the world, and essentially you walk in, you drop your phone into a secure pouch, it magnetically locks, but it's electronically unlocked. So effectively it's locked there and stays there. So the kids turn up to school in the morning, they drop their phones in these secure pouches, individual pouches per phone, and then at the end of the day they're unlocked and away they go. So the teachers know they're in there, and what they're seeing already, again, we don't have cold hard evidence, but we've got some anecdotal stories. The teachers are already seeing that the playgrounds are noisier, there are more kids out in the playground actually doing things physical, and they're seeing some benefits there in the short time it's been running already. So it might be a bit of a blueprint, if you like, for other areas, other schools, and either other activities around the nation. I mean, imagine going to a cafe that had a technology-free zone, and you walked into the cafe, dropped your phone in a pouch, talked to your friends, didn't check your social media, didn't take a photo of your food and tell everyone what a wonderful time you were having. You actually had a wonderful time while you were sitting there talking to people. So I can see some applications elsewhere, but at the moment in schools I think makes sense.
Absolutely. I think it's great. Now Nokia, that first, well, I suppose it was one of the biggest names in mobile phones at one stage, have just launched a smart TV.
Which sounds crazy, doesn't it? Because if you said Nokia to anyone, they would say mobile phones. They'd say, they'd even name a model, 5110 or a 6110. I mean, some of the models that were iconic for Nokia, and obviously the Nokia phone brand has diminished dramatically, but now smart TVs. And it's interesting the way it works. This is a brand that's completely unrelated to Nokia whatsoever. They've built and basically produced a TV, but they wanted to market it under the Nokia brand. So it doesn't actually have any linkage to the brand, but they see a lot of value in the brand name. So they're basically selling that particular smart TV under the license of Nokia with no real association from the technology or engineering from Nokia. So it's a marketing exercise more than anything else.
A bit like Kogan branding his TVs, maybe.
Exactly right. Yeah. Kogan would have absolutely zero manufacturing process or input or even R&D into that.
That's right.
They just say that looks like a good TV. We'll stick our sticker on the front of it.
And that's what they do.
Yeah.
It's a bit like some of the big manufacturing companies that, like GE, for example. They some of the washing machine companies not even involved in the manufacture of washing machines anymore. They're completely in different industries.
Well, one of the things that I found fascinating, we've got a sister city in Dubbo with Wuzhang. He's one of our sister cities, and one of the times we went over to Wuzhang for a tour, we went through a tour of a factory that was, my understanding was the Sony LCD factory. But in that factory, it wasn't a Sony LCD factory, it was an LCD factory, and Sony was one of the panels they produced.
Yes.
And there was the Sony area, and there was the LG area,
Yeah.
and there was the, now it probably would be the Nokia area. So there were all these different panels produced to those individual manufacturer specifications, but all produced in the same factory.
Exactly, yeah. It's really interesting. Now, GM is building an EV battery factory, with LG Chem in Lordstown, Ohio.
This is the real challenge for car manufacturers now. The smart car manufacturers are saying the way we will own the future is by being able to produce the batteries.
Yes.
And companies like LG Chem, who produce batteries now, can almost hold car manufacturers to ransom if they're just selling their product. So they can basically sell their batteries to the highest bidder. Supply is a problem, so as the demand increases, they can start to control things with greater pricing, if you like, in the way they do that. So GM's been quite clever in the US, and they've said, well, let's get into bed with LG Chem rather than just buy products from them, let's build a factory. And this is going to be the sort of size as the Tesla gigafactories. And again, the Tesla gigafactories are focused on producing batteries, and that's exactly what this will do. But the thing that pleases me the most is that there are manufacturers now who are saying, we've got to start producing batteries. The market hasn't taken off yet, but it will. And again, those smart car manufacturers are gearing up ready for when that explosion in electric vehicles happens, which will happen in the near future, and they're going to be ready for it. So the companies like Tesla, like GM, are going to be there ready to jump on that wave.
Yes. I can see the dichotomy here with printers like inkjet printers and inks. It's the same kind of argument, really, isn't it? It's all about providing better competition for the market.
Yeah, that's right. And that competition will drive down prices. Better manufacturing, larger manufacturing will drive down prices. And as we've seen with so many technology things, the prices are high to begin with almost any new product, and they start to drop pretty quickly, mainly as that demand increases and as they get better at manufacturing it. But again, the more manufacturers that come into the market, the better it will be.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, we've been listening to Tech Talk today with Mathew Dickerson on Binjang 91.5. Keep on listening next Tuesday for the same thing.
Thanks, Tony.
See you, Matthew.
Bye.